What's up, everyone? This is Brandon with Hella Hi-Fi back again. This is part 3 of my Hella Budget Hi-Fi system overview. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you watched the first 2 as well. But today, just gonna be talking about these guys right here. These are my Ohm Walsh 2 speakers, produced in 1982. Just gonna go into a little bit about Ohm, a little bit about these speakers, why I like them, what they're doing for me in this room, and maybe some plans for moving forward. So hope you enjoy. So Ohm is a company that was founded in 1971 by a guy named Martin Gersten in Brooklyn, New York. They're still based in Brooklyn. They're still pumping out new speakers, new designs, and they actually still make all the parts for all their vintage speakers, which I think is super cool. When I bought these speakers, they actually didn't have these grills that I'll take off in a second, but um, I bought these grills new directly from the site and shipped them from New York, handmade, and it's pretty amazing that you can do that. And there's even update kits available for their stuff. Upgrades and ways to make their old speakers better. So I think that's super cool, and the customer service has been great anytime I've reached out to them. But a little bit about these speakers. So Martin Gersten started this company, and from what I read, it was in large part to kind of help with the patent process of his main engineer or speaker designer, which was who was named Lincoln Walsh. And Walsh had this design that was very revolutionary and unique at the time and still is today, called the coherent wave transmission line driver. And what I do know about it is that it doesn't involve a back and forth magnet like a typical speaker does, like a cone speaker. But instead, what it does is it vibrates the cone itself or something like that, and it fires directly down. And instead of a box speaker that would typically, more or less point at you. Any cone speaker is going to project, outward a little bit, but you have things like toe in of the speaker to to get the sweet spot where you're sitting in comparison to the speaker, the distance from the wall, and all these things. Very important to kind of dial that in with most speakers. The claim of Ohm and what I've experienced with them is that it's not so important, the placement of these speakers. They're a little more free in that sense, which I think is super cool. They can even play closer to the wall. You can have them, you still have to use within reason. You can't go crazy, but they do have this, enveloping sound, a very natural sound. And what it does is when the sound goes down to the chamber, it comes out and it spits out this omnidirectional sound, is what it's called. And instead of, again, pointing at you, it does a full 180 or full 360 sound wave. So that kind of sweet spot kind of disappears a little bit, and it sounds great in multiple areas of the room, which I think is super cool. And of course, that gives you this wide sound stage, really good imaging from different areas, which is helpful for me because I'm always moving around and doing chores and working on stuff in the house. But I really do love these speakers. I've lived with them for about 3 years now. I guess my kind of first impressions when I got them, I was coming from a JBL full range vintage speaker, a D131 that I inherited from my grandfather. He had them in like a custom box, and super high sensitivity speakers. And these are not that. These are, I think, 87 or 89 dB, which is not the most efficient. So they do like a lot of power. I'm only using a 45 watt per channel Marantz, and I don't push it past 30-40% of the volume knob on 95% of the occasions. And that's plenty loud for me. So, I mean, they work for me. I think that more power would give you more kind of more meat, more power at lower volumes. But I play with the with the tone controls and I play with the bass, and there's even a setting on the bottom of these that goes um, low, average, high, I think, or average, average, decrease for the both the highs and the low frequencies. And I got those kind of reversed to boost up the bass. But yeah, going back to my first impression, you know, my first impression was where's the bass, honestly, because I was coming from the speaker that had a lot of bass, high sensitivity, and when I play with it, these sound really good when I crank them. But at lower levels, definitely a little bass shy unless I have the loudness on. But overall, very natural sounding, dynamic speakers. And even though I have a very wide or very big listening space, these still sound pretty good. But I'm thinking of going back to a full range driver because I'm trying to get some tubes in my system, and I'm going to update you guys on all that as well. Um, but amazing company, amazing vintage speaker, and just a super cool speaker. Um, they're kind of the baby brother of the Ohm A, which is the one that they're trying to get that patent for I was talking about. If you've ever watched Bosch on Amazon, he has either the A or the F, I think, one of those older Ohm ones. But same technology in these, same design, and just super cool, super unique, and a beautiful, solid wood bass. So yeah, that's about it for the speakers. I guess I'll talk about the speaker wire I use too, real quick. I use Belden 9497. It's it's a step above your Home Depot, um, generic speaker wire. I think they sound good. I haven't done too many sound comparisons to really get into it, but um, Ken Shindo of Shindo Labs, who's a very well regarded and highly revered, um, you know, audio manufacturing company. He swore by him. He loved them, and he'd use them with his JBL systems and speakers and his equipment. And in the words of someone I read on a forum somewhere, if they're good enough for Ken Shindo, they're good enough for me. So I like them. They're black and orange, um, from San Francisco, so I'm down with that. But yeah, that's kind of it for my overview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And please support this channel, share this video, like this video, subscribe if you're enjoying it. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Take care.